Hello, I'm Dani. Welcome to the workshop. Have you ever been in a situation in which you have this, but actually you need that? Well, I've been in that situation hundreds of times in which I need a component. I'm trying to find a 3D file. There is none. I'm trying to find a sketch. There is none. So I have to reverse engineer it, sometimes even based only on a photo, because, of course, I don't have the part, but I needed to integrate it in my design, and the guessing game is starting. Today I will show you how you can use a sketch picture to build your model. So, what you need is, of course, SolidWorks part file or assembly file, whatever you will build. Then you pick the plane on which you would like to add your reference sketch and sketch picture. You start a new sketch. Then you go to Tools, Sketch Tools, and here on the bottom you will find Sketch Picture. It will open a prompt window which you can choose to guide you to image you want to include. I select this image and say open. Now, what you will receive is this window here in which you can adjust the position of the sketch picture, the size, the angle manually, but also you have the scale tool enabled. This is this blue line here, and you can use it to faster scale your sketch or sketch picture. You place, so grab with left mouse click the point, place it where you want it, again with another left mouse click, and you hold the mouse button. You drag the other to the position you want, like here. And another prompt window will appear asking you what is this size, and I will say this is 450. Actually, I'm scaling up, and it will scale the whole image to match this size. If you want to reset it, because now if you try to move it, you will move around the whole image. As you can see, here is an orange dot at the moment. You disable and enable it again, and it's pink again. When it's pink again, I can move it here, adjust the other end too, and choose another size, and it will scale. Then what other we have as tools is the positioning tool. You can make it by numbers or you can move it around with drag. I would like to see some of the like the front plane, so I will go out. I will make the front plane visible, because based on the front plane I will adjust the correct angle of my sketch picture. Now, once the front plane is visible, I go and double click on the sketch picture, and I will have again the menu here on the left. What I would like to do is move it by a certain angle so it's in the middle. That's not exactly in the middle, maybe 3.8 is the correct angle. Once I'm ready with the positioning, I can go click OK, exit the sketch, rename it like sketch ref image, but I have it already with the different words. Then I can block the edits by right-clicking on the sketch and make reference sketch enabled, and of course convert to make it editable again with right-click and make edit sketch. Because my file is already ready and I was just showing you how to insert a sketch image or picture, I will just delete it and we will continue with what I have. As you can see, I have a reference sketch with edits blocked, which is representing one side of the blade and then the other side of the blade. This will help me build it kind of correctly. It's not much, especially in the case with the props. Most of the visual is coming from image, not from 3D itself. So it's not exactly correct, but it is what we have. What you need to think about now is your strategy, how you will build this part. This is a complex model here. I would like to have it 3D printed, then painted with airbrush and make it real Kunai, inspired by Akali. So how is the best way to achieve it? I need one piece for the blade, one for the gemstone on the blade, one for the inner part of the handle, one for the outer part of the handle. Then we have some rivets here, which should be modeled too. This makes a lot of pieces, and all I have to do is start one by sketching new reference sketches for the critical parts. I won't make any reference sketches for the blade because it will be more built on the picture itself, but it's good to have a reference sketch for the handle. Otherwise, I'm risking to change something here and to damage it. That's hard. I mean, I can fix everything, but maybe I would like to have some adjustments, and it's easier when I have it with a reference sketch, which I edit only when needed. And then another one, which is for the outer shape of our handle. And of course the rivets here. This is where I start. For the blade, I will use surface modeling mostly. And we'll start by hiding the two reference sketches. I mean, I hide them so you can see well what I'm building. I will start with surface extrude of 1/4 of the sketch blade itself. I won't build the whole blade. First of all, I will print it on halves. Yes, I will need to mirror everything, but I need half of the blade, half of the inner handle, half of the outer handle, so top and bottom halves. On top of this, the blade itself is symmetrical in the other direction too, so I will build 1/4 only. I'm starting with surface extrude. Why? I tried many different approaches, and it turns out that this face here that is going on the top and this one here, they're with different angles, so different draft angles, and that's why I start with. First draft is the inside, it's a small one. Then we have a second draft, which is this here, and this one was, let me see, 45 degrees. And then we have the main blade, which is 70 degrees. This way we kind of receive the main shape of the blade, which we can actually compare to our image. If we look on the image and make our file transparent, we will see that there is some cutout here, but this shape is correct. I will remove the transparency, and let's see how we will do this cutout. I will hide the side and we'll look on the shape. It seems like the inner part here is sinking inside, so I will make a split line to divide this part from here, and from that edge toward here it will start sinking. Then I will make another split line, which is defining the shape here. Something similar like this was on the side view, but it was just higher. But what we can see in the image is that this is going lower than the edge itself, so I make this one lower. Once I'm done, I will delete some faces. So I will delete most of the top faces because we need to make the shape of the crystal facets, and on this side too. The next step for me will be to create a 3D sketch here. As you can see, it's not exactly correct, the 3D sketch here, but it will change a bit. I make the 3D sketch and then use surface fill to fill it. Then from this edge here, I will make a swept surface, and it will be this edge on this edge. Then with the help of surface trim and mutual, I will create one piece from what I have as surfaces at the moment. Okay, that's our shape. What we need next is one planar surface as the bottom of our blade, and a lot of 3D sketches and surface fill to build some of the triangles here. I will go like this. And then I will form this outer edge with extruded surface. And not only extruded surface, we have also draft of the surface. Next, I'm start filling the gaps here. I fill this surface, then I fill this surface, and at this point I was not able to fill this surface because this edge is going through the surface and I needed to stop here. That's the reason I use surface trim with neutral again, so I can remove part of the surfaces I don't need anymore. I'm not combining with this at this point because we still need to fill that area, and then I will combine it with that one too. So we fill this surface, and again surface trim, neutral, that creates 1/4 of the blade. Okay, at this point I'm ready with the blade, but the blade has also a gemstone in it. I built the gemstone with extrude surface, angled of course, looking until it looks similar to what I have in the image. Then I made another extrude surface which is parallel to this plane. I can make it also with offset surface, but I prefer to make it with extrude in this case. Then I fill this with planar surface, and I combine them in the top part of the gem. At the beginning I was actually combining this with the bottom, which is our blade, but then I decided that I can separate the gem and print it from another material, so it's more realistic. That's why I just mirror. Let me hide this so you can see what I mirrored. I mirrored the gem only. I will hide also this. So here it is. I mirror it to the bottom. Then I make solid using thicken. So when you select thicken and some surfaces, you can check this create solid from enclosed volume. Okay, and it makes solid. After that, I delete these faces here and patch them. So actually this face and patch it. because it was creating a gap on the bottom side of my gem. I mirror it and receive some kind of weird shape because of here. I won't be able to print it normally. Usually I like direct editing, and when I make the lid face here, I have a problem because it makes it like this. I don't want it like this, I want it straight on the bottom. That's why I use just extrude cut. Then I duplicate it using body move, copy. You mark copy, you do nothing else, you select OK, you will receive a warning that you didn't move it, but that's fine, we don't need it on different position, we need it just right there. And on this point, what I did is to mirror the blade itself. While I'm mirroring, I'm marking to merge, so we receive one solid from the blade. And my next step was to use combine with subtract to remove the area of the bottom part of the gem from our blade. For this, I'm using the copy I created a bit earlier. Now the blade itself, or half of the blade, is ready. I can print this and it will be great, and then we will have a problem because the only area it will be glued to the handle will be here, and there is a very big chance that it will break. That's why I add this here with the two holes. Reason one, I will use the two holes to align when I'm gluing, otherwise it will slide, probably won't land on the same place. I'm using a fast glue, and for seconds you can mess it up. That's why alignment pins will come here, and these ones will also keep the blade itself into the handle once everything is ready. Okay, at some point I decided that maybe I check another orientation and print it like this. Probably it will be better. I still haven't tried that, but maybe I will. I will keep this idea here in my file so I can check it back later. Next step was to start with the blade, with the handle. For the handle, first thing I did is, let's see the sketch we have, this top edge of the handle. What I see on most of the models out there, which are, some are really beautiful, well painted, well printed, everything is great, but let's see here, we have a gap, we have obvious gap. So on this side there are two sides of the handle coming together, and here we are going out with one top edge, but here we have two, and this I was missing in all the models I was seeing out there. I decided I will do it right, so I start by making this curve on the top of the handle, and I stop up to here. Up to here we have it symmetrical, so I will stop up to here and I will build the rest later. Now I will make just this half, mirror it, and continue with the rest. I start with curve, which is sketch projected on sketch, and then I start with the surface loft, outer edge to the curve, and then inner edge to the curve. For the outer, I even did some 3D sketch with which I use as a guiding curves. So I have it nice and exactly as I wanted. Once I was ready with this, surface knit to patch them together. I will hide the curve and the sketch, and then a fillet on the top edge. And when I did the fillet, I made it without selecting the last piece here. I want it to end like this, to end sharp. because later when we combine the two halves, I will round the top here as 1. Then we mirror this surface. The next step is with surface offset to copy actually what I need from the handle, from the blade itself inside the handle. And these are these surfaces, not the bottom one, just the top ones, the side and the inner. Let's show again our surfaces and we will hide the blade. Then I will use surface trim, mutual, to receive. Okay, it's not showing correctly, but to receive this at the end. I will hide the image. This is what we have after our mutual trim. We continue with the back side of our handle, another 2 surface lofts, outer and inner, and then we have a planar surface which will represent the bottom area of the handle or the half handle. Again, surface trim, mutual, and we receive this solid. This solid is almost finished, but for now we will continue with the outer handle and then we will finish this one. The thing is that here we need a cut out with this hole size because I want the pin to go through all the handles. But there is no point to put the cutout now because I need to make it also on the other handle. I will do it later. I use move face to add some clearance between the two parts. Otherwise, they probably won't fit together well or at all. Of course, next step is to add this backside fillet, which is 1. I start the outer part of the handle by building a line. This line is representing the complete length of the outer part of the handle. I take this line and make sweep with circular profile. It's not circular, but I started like this first because I have both ends of the outer handle without making additional planes, and also because it's elliptic. And to make it elliptic, all I have to do is use scale, but asymmetric, and squish it only on Z, and receive the correct shape of our outer handle, or almost. This is the moment where I draw a sketch here representing this contour and another sketch here representing the other outer contour. After I made the sketches, I just move the faces. And then I use loft once and twice. Here we are working with solid. We're not working with a surface for the outer part of the handle. The reason for this is you can do it with features, and sometimes it's better to work with the features, sometimes it's with surfaces. In this case, it's better to work with the features. I will use surface offset to create another part. I will thicken that part and then move the end faces of the thickened part so they are flush with our model, and I will use intersect 2 times, once to have the half of the inner part and once to have it from the outer part. Why I do it one by one? Well, I have no idea. Probably I can do it with one. So I'm sure I can do it with one. And the second intersect is not needed. Okay, then I cut the outer shape of our outer handle. First on both the base and the shell, and now I have an error because I changed something. Then we have it only on the shell part like this, and keep all the bodies. I'm using wrap to create the pattern on the handle itself. I have some rebuild errors at the moment because I did change, I actually removed one of the intersects, and now all the references has changed. Of course, I can use also correct to replace missing references and try to use that, but very often it's deleting dimensions, so I avoid it. Okay, now our rebuild error is gone. I use body move copy once again to copy the inner part of the handle. I need that to cut it out from the outer part of the handle. And of course I do this with combine. Something is wrong with my combine at the moment. Maybe this one thicken should be a bit more. Offset. Okay. I'm receiving some error with the combine, that's why I will come to each here and I will offset a bit. Let's see if it will work now. And yes, it works. Sometimes it happens, I mean, especially when they're exactly flush, you can have this error that you're making is your thickness. Just move some of the faces and it will work. And I will use another combine to cut out the inner handle from the outer handle. Now let's see when I hide it what I did. I will have also this sketch. Now I have perfect fit. But in the life nothing is perfect, so we will move this face a bit later, because at this point this very sharp edge here will make us a problem. I should finish my edits to the outer handle before I put the offset. I will make a cut extrude for the positioning pins, and this cut extrude will be through all the parts we have, like this. Then another cut extrude which will be only in the top for the rivet heads, a small extrude balls, 2 domes, and we have the rivets, and then I will move the faces here. As you can see, now I move the face and we have some clearance between the two parts. Once I'm ready with this part of the handle, I mirror everything, because if we can use only one piece for the blade and it's the same, it's not the same for the rest of the handles. And the last small bit is to add with one boss extrude the positioning pins. Here they are. And that's how we built a 3D model, even a complex 3D model, out of simple image. And we can have this just out of picture. Sometimes it won't work from the first time and it will need some reworks, but that's okay. That happens. Almost nothing is working from the first time unless it's extremely simple thing. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe for the channel if you want to be up to date with all my videos, and I hope I will see you next time. Bye bye!